You know, it'd be awesome if I decided to make a short film on the coldest winter ever in the history of Toronto. Awesome. Hey there, Happy New Year. It's early March. We're finally getting to see some warmth here in Toronto. It's been a bit of a bummer the whole winter. Like usually during the winter, you can still do stuff outside. And I was hoping to do a lot of filming over the past couple months, just here and there, just some walking outside shots, you know. You're good until about -5, -10, but it's been like -35, -40 here, and I can't remember a time in my life that it's been this cold. And that's probably because it's been the coldest winter ever. I don't like to think that I have a black cloud, but when you hear statistics like that, it kind of makes you wonder. So it's been about 2.5 months since the last update, and I meant to put something up, but nothing really that cool has been happening. I've been sitting around watching a lot of tutorials, and that's not really fun for anyone to watch.
Move on to the projection settings. Now, you do have an option to actually disable the masking.
We still get to use the same Nuke scripts that we're used to, except that now
In this lesson, we'll take a moment to learn a little bit about color space and why it's important in both the texturing.
Jesse, I have no idea who these people are. The Russian!
I'm working on the rigging still and the texturing kind of side by side. That's the good thing about a project that's this big. You can just keep hopping around when you get bored. So yeah, I knew I was going to be spending a lot of time indoors over the winter. I had a lot of stuff to do with the robot. So first thing was rigging. So I got into that, but I'm slow. I'm trying it in a new program for the first time, and I know little bits of it, but I don't know the whole picture. So it's a really slow slog trying to get it. The good thing is that I started with something simple. Once I started rigging the shoulder, I realized that it was a bit of a mess. So the shoulder needed a bit of a redesign because he had a bunch of sliding parts and pistons, which kind of look cool, but they're not really functional, and he didn't have the range of motion that I needed, and it just wasn't going to work. So I fixed that. A whole other area of pain for me is texturing, because I've never done texturing properly. My whole texture workflow up until about a month ago was if I needed a box, I go on CG Textures, I get a texture of a box, and I stick it on the box, and I hit render. That's pretty much it. I might throw in some vignette and a lens flare. So back in 2013, I won my copy of Mari, and I've been meaning to use it forever. It took a long time for my Mac Pro to show up, and then it finally did. I was just too busy to use it. So I finally got into it, and I was not enjoying it. It was really frustrating for me because I'm not a texture person. I don't know anything about it. And the couple things that I had painted in there, I was having a hell of a time getting them into Modo. It just was crashing every time, and I thought it was because Modo just couldn't handle it, and it just wasn't meant to happen. So I started looking into other options, and just before Christmas, Substance Painter had a sale on for an indie version of Substance Painter. If you made like no money during freelance last year, and I had the worst year ever, so I qualified. So I started using that. I started bringing assets in. I redid all the UVs for the robot. I went from 40 patches down to 5 patches because I thought that's what I had to do because I'm texture dumb. So I was watching the tutorials, I started painting all that, and then as I started working with that, I started seeing the limitations of that application for what I needed to do. I started feeling a little bit So then I went back to Mari. I started watching Mari tutorials, but a weird thing happened. Because I watched all the Substance stuff, I started to get a bit more understanding as to how smart people make textures. Anyway, so I'm back in Mari now, and I'm enjoying it. I've started to just dabble, just throwing down lots of paint on different pieces and just hiding pieces, unhiding, selecting, moving, masking, blah, 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 blah. And it's been a lot of fun. And that problem I had earlier with the importing, that turns out it was just a bug. importing UDIMs. So if I actually asked the question, I probably would have got an answer like, oh, that's a bug. Don't worry about it. It'll be fixed. But now the bug is fixed, and now I can import stuff no problem. So I brought in 25 4K textures in the color and the bump just to see if it would work, and it works fine. So while it was slow, I was still making some progress, but then it just got to the point where I needed to start picking up some work because, you know, the financial fallout after Christmas is never good for anyone, and I hadn't done any freelance in months. And the promise of a robot attack check showing up in the mail. My biggest problem right now is that I don't know what color to paint the robot. I've dabbled with all sorts of different palettes and colors, and I use Colorway, and I dabbled with this, but I keep going back to the same old look, and it's just the same old thing. And I'm not really into any of the colors I've put down. I can't think of anything, so I think I'm gonna have to go to the best damn design team that money can buy. Thanks for coming. I've been trying to texture the robot now for a couple weeks, and I'm having no luck. So I need you guys to help me out with the colors. So I've put these sheets together, and I need you guys to use your tools. How do you guys think the robot should look?
Like all rusted and dirty, like an end of the worldish color, and like a little rust on him.
End of the worldish color.
Yeah.
I'm going to use your drawings to color the robot. This is called concept art.
Coloring white, so that makes no sense. Like a scribble. At the bottom of his foot could be like all mud and rocks.
That's a good idea.
Sticking to it, cause like he has to walk in mud and like he doesn't even care. Because
Somewhere on his body, it's got to be written Slob 99. So where do you think that should be written? On the top of his neck?
or daddy, kidding on his butt.
So far you guys are going for like dark colors.
This is how we're doing, people.
Oh, those are the scratches?
Yeah, those are like all the scratches.
Cool. It's important to have good concept art,
Hey, that's
because otherwise I
good.
won't know what I'm doing.
That's good.
That's awesome.
That's awesome scratches.
What about his face mask?
Oh, it could be like. Dylan, that's a secret part of the movie.
You guys are funny. You're picking all the exact same colors that I was picking. Just grays and browns and stuff. Okay, so the design meeting's done, and we've got 2 concept pieces to work with.
That's the robot. I did all those colors because of the construction buckets. They're sort of like a construction color. And this is my robot. Here it says Slob 99 on it. Right there. And I drew all this. And this is like blood to make him like step on people. Isn't that cool, people?
So I've got my marching orders. The design team came through, and time to start doing some painting. Stay tuned.